Welcome along to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Today we're really getting stuck into a massive talking point in world rugby right now. It's well, a pretty bold move by France that's got everyone talking. And look, if you love the game like we do, make sure you hit subscribe to Rugby Obsession. That's the best way to keep up with everything, including these deep dives.
Absolutely. So our mission today really is to unpack France's new squad for their summer tour. They're heading down to New Zealand facing the All Blacks, which is always huge. But this squad, it's, let's say, controversial. Maybe highly anticipated is better. What the sources are showing us is it's not just a list of players. It's a very, very deliberate strategy. It's about development, long-term thinking from Fabien Galthie. It's a statement.
It really is. And the headlines, I mean, they jump right out at you. Stuff like, France risk All Blacks fury as big names miss New Zealand tour with 17 uncapped players included. 17. That number alone just makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is it really about risking fury, or is this something much more calculated? Well, it's definitely calculated.
Yeah.
And Galthie, he hasn't exactly been hiding it. He's basically come out and said, look, we're using this tour for development. Plain and simple. And that's a pretty big shift, isn't it, away from just focusing on winning the next test match. It's about building for the future, giving guys experience.
It's bold, though. I mean, really bold. Facing the All Blacks in New Zealand with the development squad, does that put, immense pressure on the few experienced guys they are taking? Or is that maybe part of the plan, too? Let's look at the numbers because they really paint the picture here. So the initial squad is 37 players. Decent size. But here's the really interesting bit. Our sources say up to 5 more players. From Toulouse and Bordeaux, whoever's in the top 14 final. They join after the final.
Yeah.
Bringing it to 42 total. But that timing, well, it tells you a lot about the pull between club and country and France. Right, definitely. And the headline number, the one grabbing attention, is the 17 uncapped players. In that first group of 37, 17 guys who haven't played a test match for France. That's almost half the initial squad. It's huge.
Yeah.
These are new faces, guys looking for their first real shot at this level.
Exactly. And it's across the board, isn't it? You've got front rowers like Georgie Berria, back rowers like Jacobus Van Tonders, playmakers, guys like Leo Berdoux potentially stepping up. It feels like Galthie's trying to plug gaps, maybe, test out options for the next World Cup cycle.
Spot on. He's addressing depth issues that have, maybe caught them out before. And when you compare that massive influx of new guys with the pretty limited experience in the rest of the squad, it just hammers home that developmental point. Our sources point out you've got the captain, Gaël Fickou, obviously experienced, then Rabah Slimani and Romain Taofifenua. They're the only other guys with 50 caps or more. Just 3 players with that level of test experience.
Yeah.
Quite something.
So, back to that pressure point. Does having so few veterans put an unfair burden on Fickou?
Yeah.
Or is testing his leadership in this situation also part of the bigger picture?
Could be.
He's clearly vital for Galthie. He'll have a massive job guiding these younger players. And you mentioned some big names missing, but it's interesting Cameron Wokey is included, right, after his red card got wiped.
Yeah, that suggests Galthie still wants some proven quality where he can get it, fitting into the plan. It's a massive ask for Fickou, though.
Definitely.
Not just playing well himself, but mentoring, keeping spirits up when things inevitably get tough, which they will. I mean, playing the All Blacks in New Zealand, it suggests they're willing to maybe take some hits on the scoreboard to give these guys that top-level exposure, building that pipeline, addressing those weaknesses we saw in previous World Cups, maybe in the front row, maybe at fly half sometimes.
And they'll need that resilience because the schedule is brutal. First test is July 5th down in Dunedin, then Wellington a week later, and they wrap it up July 19th in Hamilton. 3 tests, bang, bang, bang. That's tough for any team, let alone one finding its feet like this. A huge learning curve.
Which brings us back to that word fury from the headlines. It's maybe more complicated than just France being disrespectful. Galthie's been very forthright is the word the source used. Very open. He apparently still says New Zealand or scary. The legend lives on. Standard stuff. But then, crucially, the sources say he broke silence on All Blacks compromise and accepts New Zealand fury. Now, the compromise part, that's fascinating. It points to the whole club versus country battle in France, doesn't it? The top 14 clubs are so powerful. Getting players released for tours like this is always tricky. So this deal Galthie mentioned probably involves some serious negotiation, maybe money, maybe limits on player game time. It suggests this selection isn't just Galthie being bold, it's also him working within the realities of French rugby.
Okay, that adds a whole other layer. So it's internal French rugby politics spilling out onto the international stage, almost.
Pretty much.
But here's another twist. Our sources also mention the All Blacks themselves, under Scott Robertson. They've named 5 uncapped players, too. 5 isn't 17, but still.
Interesting.
Does that suggest maybe both teams are seeing this tour as a bit of a development opportunity, a wider trend, perhaps? What do you, listening right now, make of all this French strategy? Is it smart long-term thinking? Is it too risky? What about the Kiwis doing something similar? We'd genuinely love to hear your take. Jump into our community, share your thoughts. And hey, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Rugby Obsession. It means you won't miss discussions like this one.
Yeah, definitely weigh in. Because when you zoom out, this whole situation, it's more than just a team sheet. It really is a statement from France about where they see themselves going. They're prepared for a tough tour, maybe some flack, some fury, as the headlines say, because they're playing the long game. Building depth, building for the future, trying to make sure they're contenders year after year. If this pays off, they could be seriously strong for years to come.
Okay, so here's something to mull over then. A final thought for you. Given this really audacious developmental strategy by France, how will this tour actually shape their future? Forget the scores for a moment. Is this gamble, this kind of trial by fire against the best team in the world, actually necessary for them to reach that next level? Or could it backfire? Could heavy defeats maybe dent the confidence of these young guys? Big question. It's going to need incredible character from those players. It'll be absolutely fascinating to watch, no doubt about that. Right, that's us for this Rugby Obsession deep dive. Really enjoyed digging into that one with you. Please make sure you are subscribed to Rugby Obsession wherever you get your audio fix. We'll look forward to you joining us for the next episode.